So my journey, my Bronx tale, is a little bit different. Whenever you hear the word the Bronx uttered from somebody, a newscaster's mouth, a fire here, a shooting there, mayhem everywhere, I want to change the image of what people may believe about Bronx natives. Okay? And so a little bit about my journey, my triumphs, my wonderful experiences that I pinch myself saying, how did this happen to me? It didn't happen because of some super athletic prowess that I possessed. It didn't happen because of some melodious voice from a multi-platinum CD. It happened because of the sacrifices that I made or decisions that I made when I decided not to hang out until the wee hours of the morning. And what I will say is not about judgments. That's not where I come from, okay? And a neighbor of mine, Billy, did. And Billy is still in jail, serving life because of a foiled robbery attempt that ended up in the death of a taxi cab driver. I'm talking about decisions. When I decided not to take drugs, and this brilliant classmate of mine, Robert, did. And about 5 years ago, I was riding a bus on New York City bus, going back to my parents' house, and I see this gentleman walking back and forth, up and down the aisle, speaking something that only he knew that was intelligible to him, but no one else understood it. People were averting his gaze because they feared that he may come over and say something to him. But for 2 nanoseconds, he had a moment of sanity when his eyes locked in on mine, and he said, "Are you Daphne Mobley?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And I looked to the right, and it was my stop, and I ran off the bus. Not that I'm scared, because I'm from the Bronx. I'm not a punk or anything. But I said, how did this guy with such a promising life, so smart, how did this turn out for him? I'm talking about decisions made when I decided, this is not a judgment, when I decided not to have sex in junior high school, and another classmate, Gigi, did. And she became strapped with adult responsibilities, stripped of the opportunity to enjoy her childhood years. But you see, I don't want to be the only exception to the rule of what people may believe about Bronx natives, or women, or people of color, or African Americans. I want a continuum of so many others, like everybody in this room, to have triumphant stories to tell. There are seats down here, by the way. Triumphant stories to tell, okay? Because I want you to believe that you can also jump over some pretty high hurdles. Just like LeBron James going in for a dunk and leaping. No, arising, okay, I have the liberty. Arising over the hurdles. I want you to believe that too. But pivotal to my success was positivity, positive people around me. My mother, Dottie Mobley, my father, Leroy Mobley, and my little brother, who's not so little anymore, Gregory Mobley, all supported me and believed in what I could achieve as well. My mother, who took me and Agnes Martinez every weekend for a few months at a time from the Bronx on the subway, across the Staten Island Ferry, on the bus to go roller derby training every weekend. Yes, I also thought I could be a roller derby star in addition to a veterinarian. And that was a 4-hour journey, round trip, every weekend. My father, Leroy, the quiet gentleman, always with a newspaper in his hand, reading in the background, laughing quietly, watching golf, basketball, football, other sports on TV. And my brother, my little brother, Greg, You would have thought that he was going to be the veterinarian, always with the ever-multiplying gerbils in that small crack cage with little pink babies nestled under the newspaper bedding, or the room that would erupt into raucous laughter when my brother and his friends would feed the piranha goldfish. But if it was not for my Aunt Loretta, I never, ever would have become a veterinarian. She was the one who uncovered all the layers of fear that covered the desire to be a veterinarian. She had 2 dogs, Tatty and Dinky, whose pictures still hang in her house today. And you loved going to her house. It was the kind of house filled with laughter and kisses and spoiling and sweet delicacies for little kids, just hugs all the time. And I loved going there, and I couldn't imagine not going there anymore. And so she said to me one day, and it hit me like I walked into this wall. You can't come to the house anymore. We're not putting Tatty and Dinky in the basement. And I thought, how could I ever not come here anymore and get my kisses and the candy and the cake and the sweet potato pies and all the stuff, right? And so what became from fear, from these barks that I would hear that said, come in here, Daphne, we want to chew you up, to, come in, Daphne, let's lick you from head to toe and smell those curious scents that I see swirling, wafting around your legs. And it was like a drug after that. Oh, not the drug that has you walking up and down a New York City bus back and forth and speaking something you don't know, but rather a good drug. A drug that I felt like I couldn't get enough of being around animals. And so what I did was began to take care of neighbors' pets, my relatives' pets when they're on vacation, and I just couldn't get enough. And I remember at 13, like Tawana said, I knew that I wanted to become a veterinarian because it was like yesterday. An interviewer for a private school in New York City said during the interview, Daphne, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a veterinarian. And he said, you know, Cornell has a fabulous vet school. And it was like, I said, after that, I had the focus and I said, that's where I want to go to veterinary school. So I set all my plans in place to go to Cornell. And I knew that I had to attend one of the top high schools in New York City. And I was fortunate that I got into one of the top, if not the top, the Bronx High School of Science. But that may not be so good. It was good, I was elated, but it wasn't so cool to go to that kind of school where I grew up. It wasn't cool to be smart. So I was left to catch occasional glimpses of that beautiful satin gold and lime green jacket. Yeah, satin was kind of cool then. Look back at it, hanging up in that glass case because I knew I wasn't going to buy it to wear it where I lived. But that did not quench my zeal to excel academically. And so I had a 90 average and perfect attendance when I graduated, and I told my guidance counselor that I wanted to go to Cornell. And he said, well, you know it's hard to get into Cornell. And I said, yes, I do, but I want to go there, and I'm applying anyway. So despite what he said, I was admitted into Cornell, and I told him that, and he said, oh, that's good, wow. But it didn't matter because I was focused on my goal, and I believed that I could get in there. And so I went on to Cornell. And despite that, they didn't tell inner city kids that you needed to come equipped with a survival kit to survive the wilds of Ithaca, New York, okay? And despite that, I would see semester after semester after semester, African-American after African-American and Latino after Latino pack up their bags and leave due to the academic pressures that existed there.